Hi, this is Susan. Hey, what would you do with a little cardboard box and a whole bunch of trash plastic? There's some cardboard from a box. There's some desiccant. There's some plastic straws. Some little beer cap. Little pieces that the AT&T guy left behind. There's a little medicine eye drop container, little ketchup, a little pill pack from my dog. Just a whole lot of trash. Well, here's what I made. A chemistry lab. What do you think? It was so much fun. I made it over 3 nights, and I had so much fun with it. Let me show you everything. The little sink. The little Bunsen burner. Bubbling over. Little notepad. Little stool and a trash can. Hazardous waste. What do you think? Let me tell you about it. Okay, I started with the box. And you need to glue the flaps of the box in place first. And I use Fabri-Tac because it was kind of getting gummed up. And so it catches real quick when it gets like that. So I glued in here and along the sides and taped that down, on all the sides. So it had time to dry and set up. And then I started drawing out where I thought the sink should be. And then I was taking the trash plastic pieces, trying to figure out what would work. So there's a piece, and here's a piece to make a little shelf. And let's see, this would work for the sink. You could do a bigger sink if you had a bigger box and more, bigger plastic for your fashion doll size. So I glued the 2 pieces together of the green, and I cut around this and tried to, make it look like it would fit in there and draw that to cut it. And then got to have a shelf. So there's the shelf. And then I put some of these on top just to show it's going up, and maybe a second shelf if you would like. So this also goes in the middle because they worked on both sides of the stations. Hey, did y'all ever watch Murdoch Mysteries? I love that show. And the coroner's a lady doctor, and she's, here we go. She's got a chemistry set up in the morgue. And I always thought, I'd love to make that room, and never imagined I'd make it in plastic and out of trash plastic. Never imagined. So here we go. So this is just a cardboard box. And, after you get your cardboard box set up like I just showed you, then you glue on your door and your drawer pieces. And that's 4 layers of just, trash cereal box, or this is a knockoff cheesy pasta. And so let me show you some of the things that are up here. And they're made from straw, mostly the bendy straw. Like, you know, the bendy straw has all these parts to it. And I didn't use this one because this is blue, but I used most of the white one, or the clear one. My friend was funny. He said, "You can use my old one, but you can't have my new one." But, see, here's like the bendy part. So like I made the Petri dish kind of looking, sort of. And up here is one of the beakers out of that part. And there was a little couple of parts that were good for like a little, I don't know, a little container. And I cut open cut open, sawed open this, the spritzer that was in pink. And I wanted to show you the parts I got out of it. Now see the tip on it? That's what I made the centrifuge, and I painted it with, you know, enamel paints. And so that I had to saw. And then I found all these pieces on the inside. And then there's this tubing that you can use. You could use this tubing in the lamp builds too. If you want to look at my lamp videos, they have old-fashioned oil lamps in there. But they're such cute pieces. Like, look at this slide. Whee! That's a fun thing. And doesn't this look like a boat? Doesn't that look like a boat? I think so. And it looks like skids to maybe a sled or something. Good pieces. And I found, I don't know what to do with the spring. I don't know if y'all know anything to do with the spring. But I found a spring in there. Let's see, I've got something underneath there. Okay, this piece looks interesting, but I don't know what it would be used for. This looks like it's the coffee part of the coffee machine for maybe a Barbie size. Don't know what that's going to be. And then, you know, pieces, parts. So, comment if you've ever made anything out of plastic that turned out really cool and you just want to share. Love to hear it. And so I used grapevine to make a little pencil right over here. And I used it over on the back side, and I'll show you that. I've been trying to make that grapevine behave. I've been soaking it in water, and I can't get it soft enough. So, let's see. We've got, you know, straw that would fit the stuff that the AT&T guy left behind. Like, all these little pieces. Like, this goes on this. And then you cut it up here, and you've got a beaker. Like, you know, a little beaker. And I made one dirty to kind of put in there. Okay, and this is something I've had so many of these. These are for dry eyes, and you use one of these a day, so you have tons of these. And so I was trying to think, oh, I just want to use it as a bottle. I mean, it looks like a bottle. And so I never had anything to use it for. So you cut the top off, you know, trim it around, and then cut the back side off. And that's what I made the little, like, chart out of this back side piece. Let me show you that. I just took a little piece of note paper, you know, with the one line, and then folded it up and cut the end, and then glued it in and pulled this back so that it looked like it was hanging up, sitting up. So there you go. Oh, this was a funny piece. I found it looks like a little crown. This was inside the spritz bottle. Okay, and then I had this from, I guess, some wedding shower or something. And so I put it on there. I was like, oh my gosh, I have a little crown from my toy store. But then I turned it over and I was like, you know those stands that they put jardinières on? This looks like one of those stands if you painted it black. You know, those big pots that have the beautiful flower arrangements, the jardinières. There you go. Okay, so of course, you've seen these before. This is the top of my Pantene spray, and this is the pull from the olive oil. And you can't put this at the top. You've got to stretch this back side. If it doesn't have this little V in it, it won't work. So you start at the bottom with the lid facing up, and you just work your way up. Sorry about my nails. They've got paint all on them. That enamel paint hadn't come off yet. And I've washed them and washed them. So just please pardon them. Also, I've been working. We had to cover all our plants for the cold. So my nails broke and everything, moving pots. Anyway, so see, you get it up there. And that's so cute. I've always wanted to use it. Never had a plan for it. But I always wanted to use a little trash can. Okay, so that right there is this little trash can. And I painted it red. And I got this sticker. I downsized it. It was originally, a big, huge sign. And so I have Windows 11. And it has an editing thing for resizing if you look for it across the bar. But when you try to save a picture, look and see if it's a web page or if it's a JPEG. I can't do anything with a web page. It won't let me edit. But if it's JPEG, then I can downsize it. So that's a little tip there. That's what I did. And then I took a Sharpie marker and put the yellow back on it because it faded out. And of course, this is a bottle cap. I put a second bottle cap underneath so that it would rise it up a little bit. And so this is just the top off the glue bottle. You know that Dollar Tree carries glue, and they have the super glue gel over there in the automotive section. Now, mind you, the automotive section is about a third of an aisle. Sounds really grand for what it is. But, yeah, they've got a whole bunch of different glues. They've got wood glue. They've got all kinds of glues over there if you haven't checked it out. I mean, who goes to the automotive section at Dollar Tree? But they do have paintbrushes, if you're not going to use them for a whole lot. But anyway, isn't that cute? So, using your beer caps for more than a pie. So, we've got all these little pieces that came, that the guy that put in the fiber optic cable, hooked up the Wi-Fi and all that, he left this bag full of stuff. And I don't know if he meant to. It was trash in it. I don't know what all. But it had a lot of little pieces, parts, and I've had it for years. And I just didn't have a plan for it. It looked interesting, heard about the trash plastic builds and kept it. So this is it. It's so cool. Let me show you. I lined them up so you could see them a little bit better. See, this piece is the riser, which is the black. And this is the little top for that. Can you see these? So I point them out. The riser for the top. And the little pill bottle is the bottom. And the little turned over bottle. This is some kind of rubber sheathing. Something rubber insulation. And that's there. And let's see. This right here was something they used to clean off. They use these sticks to clean. I don't know. Maybe they put them in alcohol or some kind of special water or whatever. But they used them to clean stuff because they were a little smudged. And I found a whole bunch of these in that mess. And I was like, oh, these are great for one-time use with the enamel paints. So let's put those aside, but then I realized it made a good stirrer. So I cut the back end to be the stirrer. So I also got these little cup parts out of the back end, but this was my inspiration piece. This was the part of the trigger on the spritzer, and kind of looked like a ray gun from the 50s when I first got it out, and then I cut the front part off, which was something like that. You know, it looked like a little ray gun. But so I got that, and this was, I made the Bunsen burner out of, let's see, like this piece right here, and then there was just that clip that holds, that you screw in, that holds the cable. That was broken, and so that was the bottom piece. I only had one of those, but you could use a button, you know, something, you know, just a little button or something. So anyway, I painted that, and then I used the grapevine for the line. That you can see there's a line that goes to the back. And I did have to use some beads. So that's supposed to be the gas. And the top, this was one of these tops, little pull tabs. I don't know, it had a bunch of writing on it, so I painted it silver so it would look like an important gauge or something. Now over here in the sink, let me show you with that. You know, like this sheathing, there was a good sized piece of the sheathing, but it didn't have any wire in it because it's pulled off, and so I stuck some floral wire scraps that I had, you know, just floral wire. You could put like paper clip, something like that. Anyway, to get your bend. And then of course I used, you know, one of those pieces from this piece from the AT&T cable guy to give it some stability. And then these right here were just little beads, and I really didn't like them after I ordered them. I thought they were kind of tacky, so I never used them. But look how perfect they are for this. They are so perfect. And so I just used a seed bead underneath it and a little round thing that I had, and so how perfect. Never know. You just never know what's going to be the thing that's going to work. So anyway, this is in the sink is the drain. This is the front. There's that little seed bead. There's the front, because I had to have something to put on the cabinets. So those are the cabinets. Now I don't know if I said, but when you got the box dry, you know, you put the cardboard pieces for your drawer fronts and your doors on. Go ahead and glue them on before you paint anything and before you put this in. Do that, and then set up your piece here and glue that down, and then you can start painting everything. And you need to spray it at the end, and it's cold here, so I can't spray right now, but I'm going to spray everything with a sealer, you know, to seal this, because it's kind of hard, you know, the paint, you know, sitting on a box that's got a slick surface on it, and I don't want it to come off. So anyway, so this was, I told you, I think that was this cute little tip. So that's supposed to be a centrifuge, but it was this cute little tip that's on the spritzer. And this one looks like a little pot. See the little pot there that you could put a little cactus in? Isn't that cute? And you could use this line when you make your oil lamps. You can put that as your chimney and your oil lamps. So go to that video if you haven't seen it. I show how to make all the oil lamps and some modern lamps. And I think you'll enjoy it. There's a short version and a long version. The long version tells you more about beads. Oh, this was in that spritzer. Look at that. Doesn't it look like a telescope? I think it does. I think it looks just like one. So there's a lot of cool stuff in there. So, okay, let's get to the bubbles. So here's these packs. And they come in, you know, in the smaller ones in this, and they're in your pills, and they're in electronics, and they're just in a whole lot of stuff that gets shipped. And so most of it is little grainy pieces, and you can use them for bath salts. But occasionally you'll get a pack that has little bubbles. And so we went all over the house looking for bubbles last night. And so, because these are designed to absorb moisture, they'll absorb like food coloring or your dye. And so what I used was, this is for coloring your resin before you put it into your silicone molds. And I got this off of Temu. And here it is. And I've used it a couple of times now. And they're small, but they're very concentrated. And there's a whole bunch of colors in here. And they'll make good food, and you can use the ugly colors you don't care about, in your frames, because you're going to paint those gold or silver or brown or whatever. But that's turned out really good. I've used that a lot. So let me see what else. So the straw. Oh, those cheap little straws that come in those little bitty drinks they give you at the hamburger place that don't amount to anything. These straws bend before you get a drink. But I stuck it in one of these little parts from the cable guy and made the little beaker. And then I made the straw beaker. And let me show you the bottle. Did I show you this already? I can't remember. I've done this over. We've had all kinds of alerts that have come up on my phone, and phones cut off and all kinds of problems. So anyway, I always wanted to use this. So it's just such a cool little bottle. If you know anybody, they have to use one a day. So there's tons of them. And they'd be glad to give it to you. Oh, I wanted to tell you about the little mat. That's kind of a neat thing. It's a woven vinyl. And my friend, her husband was working in a condo, and they were putting this wall covering up, and they had all these cut off pieces, about 6 inches. And so she was giving this out to us. And isn't that just perfect? You never know. You just never know when you got this stuff in your trash plastic. And I can hear you ladies now going, I know, I've saved all this stuff and nobody understands why. Well, what's funny is if you know anybody that doesn't get miniatures, I know a lot of people that just don't get what I'm doing. But, you need to show them this. I was even telling my doctor about it, that trash plastic, that she should encourage her son to make stuff out of trash plastic whenever he was asking for expensive stuff. I said, you'll be surprised. I said, it's just amazing what you can do with trash plastic. And she was like, really? I said, yes, I'll show you. So, pretty cool stuff. I just had so much fun. I just never imagined doing this. I mean, I love Murdoch Mysteries, and I love the morgue and all this stuff in it. I never imagined I'd do it out of plastic and in this tiny scale. This is the smallest thing I've ever done. And, it was just so much fun. I just really encourage you to jump on it. And I didn't have a plan. Absolutely did not have a plan. This piece right here looked like a test tube. And that's what made the whole thing start, was that and seeing Murdoch Mysteries. That I love looking at the sets as well. I don't mind the reruns, so I can look at the sets. And that was the inspiration. So let me show you some other things that I wanted to catch you up on a few things. I had said about the silver lame in my Christmas memory box. It has all the tinsel on the Christmas tree. And this is silver lame. And I said it was like tissue, and it is so thin and so wispy. And so you just pull off little strands, and there you go. You got icicles. Wonderful little icicles. That just ups your tree. If you know, it's like a third dimension to your tree, your Christmas tree. You just put the icicles on, put maybe a little dab of glue so it'd stay on the branch. But isn't that neat? Just silver lame. And so I also talked to you about what I use for chicken wire. If you haven't seen my outside of my dollhouse, I have a rabbit hutch and a chicken coop. So this is the onion bag that I found that was so small. And you just need to look for one. I mean, because they aren't always small, but then occasionally they are. So you want to grab it up when you find it. And here's how I spray painted it. And it kind of makes it stand out the size that you need it. So that, and it's a little stiffer once you spray paint it to get it in place. But really cool small size. It looks like chicken wire. Looks like the real deal for your doors. You might use it for something else. I'm going to use it in another build. And here's a bigger version. And this, to me, looks like fencing. Doesn't that look like fencing to you? And if you painted it, spray painted it, you know, be the metal color. You know, it's good to have silver spray paint. I found I've used it on a lot of things. And on the rabbit hutch, I finally finished it after I was able to get some old screening. This goes into the rabbit hutch. So go and look at that video and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's the outside of the dollhouse with a big tree. And this was the last piece that I had. It had such interesting lines to it. And I thought, you know, this would be neat on a wall maybe, or behind some pictures, like a mat. But I also thought, you know, you could make some little clay oranges and make a little bag with your oranges in it. You know, do a little seam across there or glue it or whatever you want to do. You could put potatoes or just anything in it. But it's small enough mesh that it'll hold your clay pieces. So anyway, I just wanted to show those to you. And I want to thank y'all so much. Thank you so much for supporting me and being so encouraging. I've just got the nicest messages and comments. And I just want to thank you for that. And I hope you really like trash plastic and will do something with yours. I just think it was so much fun. It was just something completely different and a lot of fun. And you'll get the inspiration piece that guides you the way this did for me. And I thank you all for subscribing. This has just been such a wonderful journey. I mean, I wake up every morning, just can't wait to make something new to show y'all, or get out an old thing and clean it up and fix it up. And did I tell you about the descant? I hope I did. About the beads. Yeah, I did. Okay. So, anyway, like I said, share this with people that don't get miniatures, because it is such a good use of plastic. I mean, we don't want to see it go in the landfill. So look at that. You've just reused a whole bunch of things that would go to the landfill. And so if you would like and subscribe, I'd be really grateful. And I hope you'll definitely come back and leave me comments. Tell me what you've made out of plastic. I'd love to hear that. So thank you for coming by.